Live up, Mellow Clifton Snoopy, right on time. My faithful,
the assassin.
right? My faithfuls. We just gonna start it just Cliff Snoop Mellow. He see, he got the wild. Okay, Cliff Snoopy Mellow.
Snoopy in there today. Everybody gonna have aliases when it's over with.
Hey,
it should be Snoopy Cliff Mellow because we don't know Cliff.
Hey.
Okay.
It's always been
If
Snoop.
I ever see him, every time I say, "I'm like, what's up, Cliff the Snoopy Mellow?" He's like, "Man, why you keep calling out all the names?" That's what I've always seen on the screen.
Right.
Can I edit that right now?
Yeah, you can go on and edit that. Snoopy Cliff Mellow.
Don't change for nobody.
Right.
That's funny. So we
No,
just,
watching her live. I haven't seen her.
Troy kicked me to the curb after season 1.
I know. Where's Troy been?
Working late.
Shoot. Hey, man. So I'm looking at myself on the big screen on the TV. It looks really nice. It's kind of cool. I just got to make sure not to look too long because I'll get distracted with the... I didn't say that. I said that 5 minutes ago. Anywho, in the meantime, look, I'm going to say my good evenings and all that good stuff to my folks. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to Gentlemen After Dark, a place where grown folks and them can talk and them without judgment. Let's go ahead and get some acknowledgments in. She was of the first, Miss Ilona Wade. Welcome back. Welcome back to Gentlemen After Dark. Appreciate you. Thank you for that. Happy 53rd. Old dude. Why gotta be old dude? I couldn't be young man. But I'll take that.
You are playing whiskey music.
Huh?
You are playing.
You're getting better. You're just getting better.
Hey, come on, man. Come on. Thank you. Michelle Finnison, good evening to you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Man, they coming in real fast with it. We got Don Robertson. Good evening. Welcome back, ma'am. Good to see you. Pipper, I see you. You know what? Berdina Garrett. Good evening. I see you made it here again promptly, huh? We're gonna go through this real quick. Tanya Tatum, hey, you took a little nap. You here? You made it. Appreciate you.
I took a little nap too.
Old people got to take naps.
Hey.
All the way from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. It's my big little brother. My big little brother. No, actually, he's my little.
Please try again.
Big brother. There we go. My little big brother. Thank you for staying up, man. All the way from Pittsburgh. Thank you. Appreciate you. We got Bubba in the building. Bubba for president, man. That's who I need to have on the panel for real. Bubba need to be on here, on some of these truth moments, and we could talk about what's the word? Reciprocity. Is that the word?
That's my word. Her word is amenities.
Amenities. Thank you. Boy, oh boy, that part. And Mo, I see you, Mo. And well, look who it is. All the way from my days of working for Centinela Valley School District. Hello, Murray. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us this evening. So, you guys, thank you. Welcome back to Gentlemen After Dark. Hopefully, Miss 3 makes it in here tonight. Right now, she's a no call, no show. I said that. No call, no show. We got a vote going right now. I don't know. It's not looking too good. But anywho, it's that night, you guys. It's a special day today. We're going to talk about relationships, part two. So before we get into that, let me introduce this panel of grown folks to you. We're going to start with the lady because she's been holding it down for the ladies, representing hard all the way from the Drew Crew. That's where I grew up at, St. Andrew's Place. It's Miss Day.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening.
Next
Black
up,
people.
black people. Go ahead, say it. Finish. Look, we don't raise our Zoom hands up in here. We got my brother all the way from the Drew crew as well, next door neighbor to Miss Day. It's my little big brother. What does it say today? Cliff Snoopy Mello.
Wait a minute, I changed
Mellow
that.
in hand.
It says Cliff Snoopy Mello. Yeah, it should be
See.
Snoopy Cliff Mello.
The
And then
assassin.
last but not least, my guy all the way from Memphis, Tennessee, Devin, Mr. Devin. So
Good
Devin the
Good morning.
dude.
Devin the
Devin
dude.
the dude. You know
Good
what?
name, Devin.
I'm gonna need you to put that on there for next week. You're gonna be
Right,
Devin the
for next
dude.
week.
Devin the dude. Gotcha.
Devin the dude.
Then you gotta say Texas.
So I was gonna do my little video intro. I don't think there's really a need for me to have that tonight. I think we just gonna jump into the conversation because last week it left me desiring more. How so? We talked extensively about relationships. We talked about the roles in relationships, you know, what the fellas is doing, so on, so forth, what the ladies is doing, what both parties are or are not doing. We talked about that. And then we got educated on some things, something as simple as chivalry. Hold the door open for the lady. We got educated by Devin, the dude. You know, fellas hold the door open for a different reason than what ladies think that we do. And for those fellas that are here paying attention, hey man, kudos to you. I see you, Kamal, my guy, Way 100. Appreciate you, man. One of the fellas, one of two I see on here so far. Yeah. And there's my guy, Busy. And good evening, Mr. Joy. So, Devin, the dude, educated us to the highest degree, to the point where I'm going to start the conversation the way we ended the conversation last week.
Shots fired.
Fire. Here we go. So, there was a comparison made in regards to a husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend, a partnership between two individuals that are in a relationship. The referral or reference made was that of a sniper team. You have the one individual with the gun, you have one individual with the scope, the binocular, if you will, that he uses to identify the target. So for those of us who don't remember, the role that we discussed last week was that the lady in the relationship plays the role of the scout. That's the person with the binocular. And then who pulls the trigger? Well, that would be the sniper himself. Once the target is identified, then the shot is actually made. And let me move that out the way. I think we've seen that long enough. So I got to thinking heavily about that. Ladies. And I know it's going to seem like I'm picking on you because tonight, yeah, I think I am. All the ladies last week, they were on Team D-A-Y, Team Miss Day. They was like, I'm traditional. Go, Miss Day. I'm with you, boo. Go for it. Yeah. Okay. So here's my question for tonight. If you are a traditional woman, at what point is it appropriate to engage in high octaves? You know, that's talking loud in my ear. You yelling and screaming at me. At what point is it okay for you to do that, ladies? So since Miss Day is the only lady here, and you know, audience, don't get quiet tonight. I'm gonna need you to come with the same energy that you came with last week with all of the, I'm with you, Miss Day. At what point is it okay for you ladies to engage in this tone? Go ahead. I'm listening. And Devin, try muting just really fast. Yeah, please. Thank you. Go ahead.
Well, I don't think that there's ever a time to have your voice raised octavely. But we all do it, and sometimes it goes that high without even knowing that you're doing it. Sometimes when you're in a heated discussion, sometimes it get a little loud gradually, and you might not even realize that your voice has gotten a little higher. But at no particular point should it start off that way, or even if you catch it that way, you should have to reel it back. You know what I mean? Um, if we embraced and I go back to this all the time, our femininity, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing to embrace being feminine. And when you're feminine, you are soft. So even if you are bringing up a discussion with your loved one, it should always be approached soft, because how you bring something to the table is how it's going to be received. So if I'm softly talking to you and I'm saying, hey, babe, I noticed the finances are a little shaky. We need to sit down and talk about it, opposed to, it's a whole lot of money missing out of the bank account, and we need to get to the bottom of this. You see what I'm saying? There's a difference. So if you come at it that way, he's going to automatically retract from that. Then if you're soft in your feminine stand and you approach it softly, then he might be more receptive to hearing what we got to have this discussion about the bank account. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So here goes Bubba. Bubba says, fuck the bullshit. You get it how you live with me.
And see, and that's the problem right there, Bubba. I don't know if you're joking or if you're serious, but this is the problem. Why is it like that? Why should it have to be like that? Because at this point, you should want peace in your home, just like the man should want peace in his home. So why would you have that energy? You ain't gonna never have peace in your home.
Mm-hmm.
That makes no sense at this point at our age, not to have peace.
Fellas, what do you guys have to say?
Woo. No, I agree. And those who know me know me. And if how can I say this? I gotta season my words with salt. Lawry's.
Salty.
I when I get to that point, I try to make it known so that somebody needs to back off. There's always a line when you have certain discussions, and let's just say an argument. And I know Dana is talking in a way that would avoid an argument, and I definitely appreciate that. But I'm coming from the angle, if you do come at that way toward me, I don't fight fair. I don't. So and you've heard me say it, Mr. Thomas, I don't get even. I get ahead. So if you come at me with the 1-2, now I got a 1-2-3 for you, and I'm going to miss the point because I know me. At that point, and if I get to the point where I'm blacking out, no telling what's liable to come out of my mouth.
Right.
So I can appreciate, and like Dana said, now we arguing, and I'm not one for the arguing, because that's why I say I gotta hit you with the 1-2-3-4 so we can end the argument. And I'm not talking about physically. I mean, however you voicing your This dude is doing donuts in the parking lot. However you coming at me, that's how now I got to give that energy times two. And whatever you needed to talk to me about, I'm not even hearing that. And I think that's
Right.
most people. Because if I came to you, Dana, and we partners, and I come to you like, why the hell the dishes ain't washed or something like that, how you gonna receive that? You're not gonna receive
Oh,
that well
not
either.
very good.
So
No,
it
not
is
very.
it's definitely a two-way street. And but to the question that you're asking, yeah, I think there's a way to say everything. Even if you pissed off, you gotta come at me at a different way because
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be on the defensive, and that's just being honest.
Right. Devin the dude, anything from you?
Yeah, a little bit. I got a little something. I agree with y'all. I mean, it's to the point to where you have to actually look at it for what it really is, and what it really is it's no different from when you're down the street from somebody trying to have a conversation with them. If you're right here and they're down the street, you're not going to talk soft. You see what I'm saying? So when you get into those moments where you are not seeing eye to eye, you feel like you're far apart. You're trying to get this person to see your point of view, and perceptually, you feel like they don't get it, they don't hear me because they're so far away from me. Not physically, but that's what it feels like. That's what you are perceiving it as. So you yell. Because I was reading this book and this guy was saying, why do we yell at each other? We yell at each other because we feel like we're so far apart, even though we're right there. So I
Mhm.
feel like if we get to the point to where we can both, because we're talking about relationships, if we both are at the point where it's like, okay, this is what we have in front of us right now. You have to meet on the same level in order to be able to not have to go into the yelling and screaming and arguing. And it will happen, but there's still a way that it can be done to where no one's disrespected, no one is feeling hurt, slighted, or anything of that nature. But at the same time, you may end up going outside of what the original situation was in order to get to that.
Right.
If that makes any sense. And a lot of times that comes from non-communication. But if you are communicating the way you should be in a relationship, and there should be a lot of communication, then it shouldn't be. There should be little to no disagreement, not disagreements, but arguments. I'll say that little to no arguments. Disagreements, you're going to disagree,
Right.
but there's a way to do. Even if you agree that you disagree, there's a way to do these things in a civil manner. I think the saying goes, "Cooler heads prevail." Uh, I've been in situations before where it's like, okay, I'm mad, I'm hollering, you hollering. We can't get nothing accomplished about what the original. What are we arguing about again? Okay, I tell you what, let's put a pin in it and come back to it later. No, we're gonna talk about this now. Okay, we're gonna talk about this now. You're not hearing me, I'm not hearing you. That's that you're far apart because no, you're not seeing eye to eye. I feel like I'm right. Now I feel like I'm right. Both of y'all can't be right if both of y'all going in opposite directions. So it just really it just depends on how you are perceiving everything in that moment. And sometimes, everybody, men and women included, has to say, you know what, I need to bag up. I need to
Right.
bag up. Because sometimes
Right.
we don't always get it right. We don't always hit the mark. And it's not that we're wrong. We could be right about whatever the situation is. And we still might need to bag up and say, okay, you know what? Let this person digest what I just gave them so I won't feel like they don't care, or I won't feel like they are uh, misinterpreting what I'm saying, or they just don't get it, or they, you know what I'm saying? We have to let people, you have to understand that people have to understand things that you give them and process it in their own time.
Right.
So,
Okay.
Right.
things take
So
time.
just a clarification, Bubba, the question was, when is it okay for a woman to raise the octaves? When is it okay for her to raise her octaves when she's addressing her mate? When is that acceptable? And based off of what we've heard thus far, it's not. But it doesn't just apply to the
Right.
ladies. It applies to the fellas just as well, because
Right.
at the end of the day, somebody just said communication is the key, but the breakdown in communication continues to happen within us. That's the guys, that's the girls, the men, the women, the ladies, the fellas. However you want to break it down, we have a breakdown with this. So I'm going to go backwards to this because Devin the dude, or no, I think it was Mello, Cliff Snoopy Mello said, or maybe it was Miss Day, or I think all of them said, so how you talk, your softness. If you are yelling in my ear, I'm just not hearing you. Right? So I brought up the sniper team again. The first part of being a sniper is that you are supposed to be stealthy. No one is supposed to know that you're here. As children, especially if you're in the age bracket of 50-ish, guess what? Nobody was supposed to know the household business outside the house.
Not at all.
Okay. The only exceptions to the rule was when, I know for me, Miss Day, and my little brother here, when we was all getting whoopings at different times, guess what? You heard it because there was no choice.
Right.
But arguing, you didn't hear that. So I draw your attention again to this sniper team because the guy with the binocular or monocular, the single, he's not yelling in his partner's ear. He's giving the coordinates.
Right.
35 degrees latitude, 45 degrees longitude. Target in sight. Fire when ready. Target down. Confirm. They just talking loud enough for them and control to hear. Headquarters, wherever. They just talking loud enough for them to hear it. Henceforth, because we, men and women, it ain't just about you women, we got a hard problem or a big problem with yelling in each other's ears. It goes nowhere fast to the point where I'm going to put this up. I'm going to let y'all read it. That's the audience as well. Bing. Go ahead and marinate.
Right. Right. And
Talking to
Dana
me.
too made it.
Go.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I'll read it. It says, talking to me after you yelled at me. Then Dana made a good point too earlier. She said, sometimes when you're talking, it raises up. And I know I can be man enough to say I work on that, because even if it does start off here, depending on the passion in which or the subject in which we're speaking of, my voice tends to raise. And I've been working hard on that so that it doesn't get misconstrued, even if I don't feel like I'm yelling at you, but you may take it that way because my voice has gotten louder, become more expressive. But once again, I'm gonna blame it on the creativeness, because once that passion comes out, that's how I tend to speak. And I know I have to catch myself so that the message is not missed, especially if I'm not mad at all, but you may perceive me being upset because of how I'm speaking. So I know I have to work on that. And definitely when you're arguing or in a disagreement, you don't at one point it becomes one 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 one. And nobody, like you said, you missed the mark.
Right. And this doesn't just apply to a man and woman. I'm gonna share a real life situation.
Sorry, I had to go get my charge.
No worries. Real life situation. I'm on this dark highway trying to get home from riding all the way to Wisconsin, Green Bay, to Detroit, and back home. He laughs. We on the final stretch for home, but this was the longest final stretch. It was dark. And when I say dark, close your eyes and don't see nothing other than if you turn your lights on when your eyes are closed and you could see that there was some light shining through your eyelids. That's about as bright as it got. Motorcycles versus semi big rigs. fatigue. I got one brother who I felt personally like, man, he's wandering out of his lane. He's drifting. I don't want to see my bro get hit. I don't want to explain to his family what happened. Why was we riding through the darkness at 30 o'clock trying to get home instead of pulling over and taking a rest? So when I finally caught up to my bro, I got on a full helmet, lid down, and I called myself telling my bro, hey, I need you to get over. I need you to get over. Right? But that wasn't how it was perceived. It was perceived as though I was yelling, which I probably was because I was trying to get the message out like, hey, get over. But I'm thinking in my head, it's okay because I got this helmet on. I just want to make sure that you hear me and not the cars or the trucks or whatever that was going by us. Wah, 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 wah. What was that, teacher? As soon as any other words came out of my mouth, it was, I'm not hearing you. I don't got nothing else to say to you, man. You over here yelling at me. Henceforth, two bros is riding in the dark, pissed off. Literally. And it wasn't for weeks, 2-3 weeks, before we actually had a conversation to clarify what exactly was happening. Extreme situation? Absolutely. But guess what? It applies to all of us right now. And then here you go. Boom. Body language says a lot. Come on. So you add the yelling plus the body language. That's guys. That's girls. I don't care. If you in my space as a grown man, you're wrong. If I'm in your face or space as a grown man to another grown adult, I'm wrong. And our instant reaction is defense mechanism. For me, there's only one individual that can talk to me any way she wants to. Only one.
That's your mama.
Come on, Mary Ann Thomas. That's it. No daughter, no wife, no friends, nobody can talk to me any old kind of way. I'm not hearing it. And as I'm gonna go back to Bubble, what you give me, you better be ready to accept it back because I'm gonna give you what you give me. So if you don't want me to give you my raw drums beating, then don't step in my space. That's just me. Anybody else? Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much everybody. I mean, that's pretty much everybody. Like I said before, sometimes you get up to that octave and don't even realize that you've gotten there, but once you get there, then that's the time to reel it back. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because
Right.
it's been a lot of times where I've gotten into an argument, then I'll be like, you know what? I don't even know what the F you talking about no more. Like, I done missed the point. I don't even, what was the argument even about? Because all I know is that you screaming at me right now. I'm screaming at you right now. So,
Right.
I don't even hear I don't even know what the topic is anymore. So we need to separate and regroup at this
And
point.
PK says, I have found it a good practice to make a person aware that they are yelling before I respond. Because when you're emotional, you may not realize that you're yelling. Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I just said.
Mm-hmm. So those are some of the adjustments, and that's what this whole forum is about, you guys. It's not to pick on the ladies. It's not to say that, ladies, you guys are the only ones that's guilty of doing this, because you're absolutely not. Men, we are just as guilty. But this grown folk stuff here that we talking about is stuff that we are supposed to be trying to get better at. I heard Cliff Mellow Snoopy say, I've been working on that. You know what I mean? I'm working on trying to get better at my reaction.
Mm-hmm.
After you've had that argument, you done blew a gasket, your blood pressure is up out of the roof, right? as my daughter asked me today, Daddy, are you feeling nauseous, weak at the knees, your head spinning, and all this kind of stuff? Guess what? That's what you do when you get your blood pressure all the way up for whatever reason it is, and now you got to bring it down, and you don't know how to.
Because I'm quick to say, you need to put some bass in your voice. You talking to me, you got to put some bass in your voice. I don't know where this high pitch came from. Put some bass in your voice, sir.
Hey,
Put some bass in your voice.
all right. For my audience, it's just food for thought. Think about it. This is not for no one particular person. This is for all of us. This is how you address individuals. I mean, even in the job that I have, I deal with the public, and nobody wants to be the recipient of any paperwork that I'm gonna give them. But guess what? I have to learn how to talk to them, and I'm sorry. Yes, you have to pay that fine. You have 21 days to pay that. Versus, yeah, you're gonna have to go ahead and pay that. You got to pick and choose how you respond or talk to people in the first place.
And as we get older, I keep saying as we get older, we should be learning better. We should be learning how to control that more and more. As you mature, we should be now it doesn't work all the time, but when you catch yourself, you should catch yourself and correct it. Like
Right.
Just like you said, we all working to be better people. You know what I'm saying? We're all working to be better people. And I just want peace in my house.
Everybody wants peace. I had a beautiful lunch conversation today, and peace was the topic. Peace. I don't want to waste my energy on somebody who is not bringing peace into my life, into my world, into my heart, into my soul. If you just here to be toxic, as we talked about last week, I don't need you in my world. I don't want you. I need you to disappear. Poof, pow. Show me your back. Let me see you walking. All that you talking, keep going. We don't need that. We don't, especially not at this age. Ilona asked the question, has anyone ever felt like they control themselves so much at work but lose it at home? I'm thinking when you're emotionally involved, when you're emotionally involved is when the real challenge comes. Any of you guys?
Most definitely, because when you're frustrated at work, sometimes that spills over into your home life, and you're not even mad at your partner. You just mad at at what went on at work, and not even knowing it, you bring that mess home. You know what I'm saying? But if you have a spouse that recognizes that, and they be like, "Hey, I don't even know what you're going through right now, but maybe you need to take a bubble bath. Maybe you need to take a walk, a drive. Don't be bringing that mess up in here. You want to talk about it? What your coworker did? You know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
Alona, I think we all have brought home at some point our work stress.
Yeah. And we think we releasing it, and this is something I've worked on. I've done a whole lot better with that. It's better, like you said, if you can talk about it, but sometimes you just don't want to talk about it. And then, like you said, a bubble bath, whatever you need to do to woosah, do that. Me, I need to go up to the man room, just chill, just leave me alone. It ain't you. It just I need to decompress, and then I come down and say, you know what this motherfucker did? Then it ain't you. It ain't never been about you. But if you come on, tell me, now it's gonna seem like it's you because now I'm just taking it out on you because you're there and it's not you. So
Mm.
we have to master that. And like Dana keeps saying too, we're getting older, and you gotta recognize your triggers. You gotta be able to be a better you. I know I wake up trying to be a better me, just trying to be a better me.
Every day, every day.
And
I'm good.
No, you got
No,
it.
I was just about to piggyback off what y'all was saying, where you're supposed to leave work at work and home at home. Well, I've had issues at home and went to work, and I was like, I'm gonna leave home at home, but somebody else brought home to work, and so now it's like, hey, bro, man, you got me, you and it was like, whoa, like all he said was, I don't give a what he said, and they were like, what's wrong with you?
Mhm.
Man, look, dude got me effed up. And they were like, yo, you bugging. And I was just like, I'm cool because I'm leaving my stuff at home and he should be leaving his stuff at home. I'm already leaving my stuff at work because y'all all really got me messed up. I got to leave that here, check it at the door when I go home. And then when I go home, I got this crap going on. So I go to work, okay, I'm gonna leave it at home. But then this dude wants to bring, he's not saying, hey, I got this issue at home. What he's doing is he's barking orders and talking, talking crazy and just shooting off on people. And I'm like, I got time today. I take it, and so it's like that's a
He
trigger,
said,
I mean, it's like what Snoopy was saying. It's like, man, I'm working on it, but I don't leave that button alone. Maybe like don't ever touch this button. If you do, and then but some people just like, hey, bro, I
yeah.
didn't even chill. All right, look, man, I tell you, let's fix it. What you want to do? We do over here the concrete, the grass, and I go to that. I'm like, that ain't what I really want to do. But I mean, if I can leave my stuff where it needs to be, then I think everybody should. But that doesn't mean everybody can. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times I think that we end up getting. It's kind of like we're tested. Like I want to work on my anger. I want to work on my this or my language. I want to work on this, that, the third. And so the more you try to work on it, the more you're getting faced with the exact same thing you're trying not to do. Like I'm working on my anger. So things keep happening in my face and in my life to keep me angry. Like not keep me angry, but do you really want to get rid of your anger? Or are you just saying that? Okay,
Like
here's
Snoop
the
said,
test.
all them triggers, all them
Yeah.
triggers.
Right.
Right. So there once was a song, Terrence Trent D'Arby. The lyrics said, "To know someone deeply is to know someone softly." You guys remember that song? To know
No, sir.
someone
No.
All we
deeply.
know is wishing well.
Yeah, I
What?
know
That's
wishing
it.
well.
Hey,
I
y'all
don't
go ahead and
I probably would know if I heard it. I'm
here
sorry.
we go. That's the second song. That's the second song.
Wishing
Y'all
well.
don't.
Yeah, I know wishing well.
Oh my God. Okay, I'm gonna have to get that for y'all. We're gonna play that for y'all because ooh wee. But who better knows you than your mate? Who better knows you? Who better knows your triggers than your mate?
And in
I
the
don't
argument, we push them all.
Come
but you
on.
know what?
Right.
I don't think I don't think that honestly I don't think we know ourselves and our triggers as much a lot of times as the person that we're in a relationship with because we're on the inside. They're actually with us, but they're still on the outside looking into our soul. That's our soul, man. So they're looking into our soul when we're not looking at it. We're not paying attention to it until we just really sit down and say, all right, look, let me check this out. Let me do a self-evaluation. But they seeing it every day. When we like and they looking like, okay, this is where, they feeling like XYZ, or when this is going on with them, this is the mode that they go into. This is the attitude that they have. This is the way that they talk when they're going through this, that, the third. And I get that. And we may be feeling like, ain't nothing wrong with me, I'm okay. But and I think that we should know ourselves better than anybody else in the world. But if anybody else, I would if there's anybody else in the world that knows me better than myself, I would prefer it to be my significant other because this is the person I'm sharing my life with anyway. So if they don't know and I don't know, we're screwed. We screwed.
but
We
that
up the creek.
Right.
but that's
And
what
I
you said something key. You said self-evaluation. And that's why I've said a few times on the show too. After arguments or disagreements, I always self-evaluate because I want to, especially if it's somebody I care about, friend, business associate, whatever. I want to be the better version of myself. So I say, what part did I play? Am I right? Am I wrong? Blah blah blah. What caused me to react that way? And then I move forward. You know, either way. Like for instance, dealing with the motorcycle club, there's certain things on our club nationwide. I know I can't be a part of that because I consider that fuckboy shit. They may be my brothers, but when I read and see certain things that certain people who I know I don't care for anyway say, I miss everything else that's good, which is 90% of it. So guess what? I know I have to take myself out of that situation. So I'm not even triggered that way. Same thing dealing with um whether it's wifey, whether it's friends, certain things I know trigger me, so I gotta stay away from that. And like you say, certain people know what buttons to push. And I see that coming. Guess what? About face, I'm going that way. I'm going that way.
Right.
So
And
self-evaluation is key.
and I said that because a few days ago I posted a post. You can't put out a fire with gasoline at all. You're in a heated argument. Sooner or later, somebody's gonna get tired. Somebody's gonna get tired of hooping and hollering and yelling, and they're gonna walk away. So now, what do we do at that point? Do I stand there and beat my chest like I'm King Kong and keep it going? Or do you go to your neutral corner and, as Devin the dude said, put a pin in it? We can come back and have a conversation.
Right.
When we can get some better results out of what we are trying to accomplish in the first place. But we too busy. And again, this applies to everybody, regardless of what anybody may think or feel. This applies to everybody, men and women. It's not all about you. It's not all about me. It's about us. If that's what we're trying to build, us, the team. No sniper team is going to be effective if one element or the other is missing. I can't shoot that target and look through the binoculars or a monocular to get the target point. I need you to call that out to me and tell me where we're going. Where's the target? But I need you to talk to me in a capacity that is going to be effective for me to listen to you and pull that trigger.
Well, you're gonna be talking to yourself with me, because once I end the argument, that's it. I don't even look. Ignore game is strong.
So you gonna let him get away?
Arguing
You gonna
by
let the target get
yourself.
away? We gotta complete the mission.
Hey,
But I understand. though. I
You
get
gonna
you.
be look.
okay.
You on your own at that point. Once I say hey,
Yeah.
hey, we gotta. And I done stopped arguing. You gonna be talking to yourself. I already done went into look. I already done blanked you out. I don't even know. I don't even hear what you talking about no more. So you just gonna be talking to yourself at that point. I ain't gonna keep arguing once I be like, hey,
That
we
part.
need to regroup. And you don't want to regroup, and you following me around the house. No, you talking to yourself. Ignore game is strong with me.
Hey. So so again, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, families, friends, Terrence Trent D'Arby, to know someone
Oh
deeply.
Lord.
I want
We
y'all to
still
go
on
ahead.
that? We still on that? I thought we moved on.
Hey, I want y'all
I
to
thought
get
we
He
out of the
gonna make
moved
us
wishing.
here. That's fine. He
I
gonna
want you
make us
to
here.
I want you to get up out of your chair, Grandma. I want y'all to get
Wow.
off the wishing well and go on to the next level. All right. So we got about 17 minutes. Look, I got a question from a viewer, and then I also have one more picture or slide or whatever we want to call it. Again, in the spirit of all the ladies last week talking about, hey, I'm traditional. Hey, I'm traditional. How traditional are you? Shoot, B, do. Here we go. Y'all ready?
Wow.
It says
Wow.
y'all can wear all the lingerie that
Wow.
y'all want, but
Wow.
these are the gowns that had granddaddy paying all the bills, buying businesses, and making 9 to 12 kids. Free game.
That's
Facts,
hilarious. That's
facts.
hilarious. But I'm so traditional clothes are optional. We going Adam and Eve. That's how traditional I am.
With the leaves,
Right.
with the twigs
Hello,
and the
back to the
leaves.
beginning. Back to the beginning.
Because once again, you know how lingerie look. How you know lingerie look good? You throw it on the ground.
You throw them over there in the corner or
Look,
whatever. You know,
Tanya, I hear you,
you might
girl.
well take that off.
We ain't that traditional. Like, we got some tweaks. There's some tweaks.
Oh, Damon said
We
you
ain't that
stupid.
traditional.
Hey man, but it made me think about it. It made me really think about it. Like I know that there are still some families, modern day families now that have multitude of kids. But those days, those eras of having a whole bunch of kids, you don't really see that. You don't. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
Well, you need to talk to some of these rappers and ball players.
Well, that just came that comes from just a lack of protection in the whole 9 yards. But granddaddy and grandmama was together. I was talking to Devin the dude earlier, and we said, what did granddaddy do? Go ahead.
Pack up. I'm going back to the field.
Right. Granddaddy will go out there, do his work, come home, maybe get a little something to eat. Girl, you got that gown on, boy. Look at you, boy. You got that gown on there, boy. I gotta get that there, boy. What was it?
Gotta heist that gown up.
Packer. He got
heist that gown up. Pack up.
Boom. You getting these kids left and right. But in all seriousness, the granddaddies and grandmothers of yesterday, they really don't exist.
Those are gone.
Those were the ones that stayed together forever and ever and ever. They might not have slept in the same room, same bed, or nothing, but guess what? But we still together.
But you know why? You know why? Because when he came home, that meal was on the table, that house was clean, them work shirts, that janitor work shirt was ironed and pressed. Okay? Women back then, they was cooking dinner at noon. They started that dinner at noon time.
Eating
So that
dinner at 3 o'clock.
okay. As soon as he walked in the door and cleaned up, that plate was on that table.
Right.
That's why he didn't mind going out there. And she kept now that she might have, it was a little more submissiveness going on back then.
A little.
You know.
A lot more.
A
A lot more. Because now, guess what? Submissive. And again, the ladies say it all the time. Oh, I'm a be submissive. I listen to him. Right. But what happens to that submission when the fella ain't taking the lead like the lady feels that the fella should be taking?
We ain't following no fools now.
I'm just saying. What happened?
We ain't following no fools. Look, if you ain't leading, you're gonna have to get it together.
So
You're gonna have to get it together.
There's a saying that
You gotta lead.
Sometimes leading does not necessarily mean that you got to be physically on the move, on the go. Sometimes you gotta.
I'm talking about like in decision making. You can't keep making poor decisions for the family and it's not going nowhere. Or we done had a discussion about a certain situation and then you go off and do your own thing. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's true.
you got leading is about making the family move forward in one accord.
Okay.
That means you done had a discussion with the wife. We done put it all out on the table, our options, what's best. We already done discussed what's best. And then you turn around and you do something totally different than what we discussed. No, there's going to be a discussion. We're going to have a Talk Tuesday.
Talk Tuesday. So, in taking the lead, a leader often has to ponder. He has to be still. He has to think about what is going to be the best next move. Is he not afforded that opportunity?
Well, honestly, and this is Orlando, you play chess. Sometimes you have a strategy, like she just said. You have a plan. This is what we're going to do as a team, and then something come up, and you the only one that see it. You don't really and this is anywhere you go, man or woman. If you are in a leadership position, sometimes you have to make what they call an executive decision right then, right there, and that may look like, you know, I'm doing something outside of what we said that we was gonna do. So I need to be able to say, hey, look, this is what happened. This came up, boom, I had to do this. I know we said we wasn't gonna get that, have much money out the account for this, but this came up. I had to do it because this needed to be done. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to go forward with the plan that we initially had. Sometimes you gotta kind of go off a script. And I'm not saying all the time. I'm just saying sometimes what they say, life happens. So
Real life
and
happens.
and the hard part of leadership is you're always hit with those hurdles and those those the sidetrack situations. You're like, man, why do I? And nobody sees it but you and maybe the person that's right there next to you. And if they don't see it, they might not see how far away you can see it. You see what I'm saying? You might be
But
looking
you
3 or 4
explained
moves
that.
ahead.
But you came back to the table and explained why
Yeah,
you made that decision. Okay, we communicated that. I
right.
can receive that. You know what I'm saying? Okay, babe, I might not have seen it that way, but you had to do what you had to do. But you came to the table and explained it why you chose that decision. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes men be like, hey, it is what it is. I did what I did.
And you're gonna
You know
lose
what I'm
every
saying?
time then,
I
brother.
did what I
Every
did. I
single
did what I
time.
did. And so
Yeah,
that's it.
I think we all done said that. It is what it is.
I'm gonna
But
go
like
back
you
to
said,
this one. Go ahead.
that's a learning thing. And once again, as we get older, the knowledge that we put to use, that's how we become wise. Because we can have all the knowledge in the world, read books and stuff, but if we don't apply none of it, you still, as Dana said, that's a fool. You and nobody want to follow a fool. Nobody want to be with a fool. So I mean, we got to take these lessons and to Devin's point, yeah, we as men or whoever's taking the lead, we in football terms, we got to call audible sometime, even
Oh,
if dang,
Ilona just said that.
I know she ain't gonna like this, but I think this is the best. But once again, communicating that may clear things up too.
Right.
Because
A
there could
lot,
be
a lot.
because if you don't tell her, hey, look, baby, this was going on right now. We said we're gonna do this, and you don't come back and tell her why you did. That's when that voice is going. It might not be the right time, but her voice gonna be like, why in the F such and such, such and such, such and such? And he be like, oh, that's right. Why you didn't say that when it first happened? Why didn't you tell me that there was
Right.
an adjustment in the play that we was trying to make so that because we're supposed to be a team. Nobody goes on their football team, their football field, their basketball court, without knowing what we finna do when we get out here. Everybody, even the snipers, look, we know who we shooting, we know who we not shooting. So what Tony Montana said, I told you, man, I'm not killing no kids, man. He said he wasn't killing no, when they were going to kill the dude, he said dude had his whole family. He said, I ain't killing no kids. He said, man, look, dude got to go. He got to go now. He said, I told you I'm not killing no kids because y'all didn't tell me what, that's not that. So you got to communicate. And if you don't, I mean, it just screws everything up. Lack of communication messes up
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. I'm not an oh by the way guy. As soon as I hear that, oh by the way, the music stopped with me. What? Oh,
Right.
this ain't gonna be good. Oh, by the
Right.
way.
That part. All right, look, we got 6 minutes. Dougie Fresh Sharon. Y'all know that song? Oh,
Yeah, we
okay.
know that one. You know
Question from a
that.
viewer, man. This was a great question. Um, Here we go. Why do we settle versus have the uncomfortable convo when it comes to our standards or needs in our relationships?
This sounds like why men keeps a woman who don't want to let them commit. That's
But
the
this,
same question with different words.
Hey,
Devin, you take it this time.
all right, let me see something here. Let me see something. It says,
hey,
why do
hey.
we settle? Go
You're
ahead.
supposed to say, Devin, you
Right,
take
Devin, you take
time.
All right, all right. So it
I
says,
concur.
why do we
it.
settle versus having the uncomfortable convo when it comes to our standards or needs in the relationships? That's a simple answer. Why? Because it's comfortable. It's easy. It's easy to say, well, you know what? If I don't tell this person that I like this little kinky stuff, then I ain't got to worry about why you asking me that. Who you done did that with? So you just don't have the conversation, yet you still want that little kinky stuff. Or hey, you putting too much salt in them peas. If you tell her it's too much salt in them peas, you know she. So why you ain't been saying something? Well, you say it one time. Also, who else cooked the peas? They you who ain't been cooking the peas right and seasoning right? Instead of just saying, look, I ain't saying nobody else peas is better than yours. I'm saying you put too much salt in the peas. And it's an uncomfortable conversation because a lot of times we start to try to think for the person that we're talking to. And so when
Mm.
you try to think for that person, you're screwed. You up the creek once again. So we settle for, you know what? It's kind of like I'm just gonna keep the peace. I ain't gonna say nothing. And then you don't say nothing because you don't want it to be. You might have plans later on tonight. Whatever the conversation may be, you might have something up your sleeve. Like, nah, if I say that, I ain't gonna be able to, you know. Or she might be like, if I say that, he gonna go off, and then we ain't going out to eat. So, whatever the case is, whatever y'all had going on. So people kind of like, no, nah, I just won't say nothing. But even if the reason why uncomfortable conversations are uncomfortable is because you're not used to having them. You're not used to having the conversation that most people don't have. Most couples don't have a lot of conversations about that innermost, like you get to having, sex with somebody and y'all been together for 15, 20, 30 years and you stop telling them about your fantasies, but you got some fantasies that you've developed. That's a problem in y'all's relationship. And neither one of y'all know it because your significant other doesn't know because you hadn't told them. And you don't know it's a problem because you think, I'm just not going to say nothing because I don't want to start nothing. I don't want it to turn into an argument. However, you have to be open-minded enough to say, okay, well, you know what? Talk to me about what's going on with you. And I'm not gonna judge you. I'm not gonna start nothing with you. I'm just gonna listen and we can talk about it together. Instead of one person getting mad, because if you get mad, I don't want to say nothing to you about this stuff I'm thinking about or I have on my mind because every time I bring something like that to you, you get upset, it turns into an argument, and we forget what we were talking about in the first place. So I feel like it's more comfortable to just I'm just gonna not say nothing, and then the uncomfortable conversation it's still the elephant in the room. You're gonna sweep it up under the rug, and that lump keep getting bigger and bigger.
I
That's the
Hmm.
one.
always say that.
That part. That part. Well, I got a few last second comments here. Alona says, love the way Devin, that's Devin the dude, explains. Good point, sir. Good points.
Okay, okay. I learned something new every week.
Right. Tamara says, people don't like to be uncomfortable. So to keep peace, we just chill out and keep it to ourselves.
That's
But is
right.
it really keeping peace? Because inside, as Devin was saying,
It's
you
turmoil.
still want what you still, yeah, exact. Thank you. You still want what you want. I think when Troy and I got together, we had what we call an uncomfortable conversation. When she was on here, she mentioned that, and we said a whole lot of things that could have maybe shocked some people. But if we gonna go forward, you gotta. I want to know you, and vice versa. I want you to know me. So yeah, it's comfortable because you're not used to having. But once it's out there, everybody know. We all done told a lie, and once that lie gets exposed or whatever, sometimes it's a real good release. Like it's a weight off your shoulder. So if I can express myself to you, that's a weight off my shoulder, and we can be better together.
And
Right.
then sometimes not having an uncomfortable conversation will explode in an argument. And then you don't even know why. You know what I'm saying? You done brought it up. You was like, hey, how come the peas is salty? Well, because I had wanted you to do the dominatrix the other night, and you like, well, we're talking about salty peas. What you talking about? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Where do peas
You
come
done held
in?
that fantasy in, and now you talking about the fantasy, and we started off with salty peas. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, how
Which
did we get here? Yeah.
But Dana, you
which
know
How did
what?
we get here? How did we get here?
Somebody once told me a lot of arguments that turn into big blowouts aren't even about what the conversation started about in the first place.
Exactly. Exactly.
and that's the crazy part, because once you get into the battle, the heat of the moment, guess what? You bring out everything that you could
Everything.
think.
You unpack. That was the
Because
key,
I didn't
unpack.
like it when my mama, why'd you bring my mama in this?
And another thing, you be like, what?
When we was dating, your mama, she didn't like me. Uh-oh, here we go.
You be like,
How
she
long
been
we been
gone 30
together?
years. Wait a minute now. What?
But that's what we do,
Right.
just to
Right.
make everything better for our side. That whole keeping it in and keeping peace.
Mhm.
You're not keeping peace for yourself. You
Right.
are causing your stomach to get upset real quick. So just more things to think about, you guys. It's 9:00. It's my 53rd today. I woke up
Hey, happy
like that.
birthday.
We're gonna do
Happy
like
born
that.
day.
Yeah. Checkmate.
Hey, check and mate, right?
What, you gonna play some Terrence Trent D'Arby?
He gonna make us hear that song. He gonna make
No, I'm
us
not.
hear
No,
that
I'm not. No, I'm
song.
He
not.
want the Soul Train line. That's what he want. He trying to
I
get the
was
Soul
just-
Train
yeah.
line going live.
I want to say thank you to my grown folk and them. I don't like
You're
that
welcome.
one. I don't like that. Let me say this again. I want to say thank you to my grown folk and them. There we go. I like that one better. Listen, so I'm accepting resumes, applications. If you think that you have what it takes to be one of them grown folk and them, that's one of these guys here on this panel, and you want to
No, a
share.
lady.
Oh,
A
excuse
lady.
me. Sorry.
Man, hey,
Hold on, wait.
don't get us in
Look,
trouble
wait.
now.
Wah,
We need some balance. We need some balance up here.
She hold it down. I'm gonna be like,
We need some balance.
let me see if I can do it right. So, ladies, if you think that you got what it takes to join Miss Day here and
Right.
these other two fellas and share in these intense, deep conversations of adulthood, man, hit me up. I'm looking for
Right.
somebody
PK,
who wants to be
Michelle.
here.
Don't be
We don't need
scared.
PK.
Don't be
We don't
scared.
need PK. She don't want it. PK don't want it. PK don't want it. PK, can you stay up past your bedtime?
she
You
can
know,
stay
you
up
let
if she wants
let
to,
me
if she
know.
wish.
You
Yeah.
hey. But
Yeah.
anywho, on a great note, you guys, thank you to my audience. Thank you. If you have not done it, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, G-Man After
Please.
Dark, GMAN After Dark. I don't ask for much. I just ask for subscribe, follow,
Subscribe and
follow
like.
us, and like.
And
Thank you.
like.
And like. Share.
And
Tell
share.
a friend. You know, in the
And
words
share.
of Clyde the Glide, and tell a friend. That's our time, you guys. I appreciate you. If I didn't shout your name out,
Deuces.
I apologize. I know my mom was in here earlier, Miss V Thomas.
Famous time.
Yeah, and my brother all the way in Detroit. Got to say it, Reaper, Roy Fowler. I see you, man. Thank you for tuning in, Miss Tanya Tatum. Thank you for staying up past your bedtime. Appreciate you, DJ, my guy. Appreciate you, man. So we're gonna end on a good note like this, y'all. We're gonna find it.
If he play that song, I'm gonna whoop him.
Right. Right.
I'm not.
Cornelius.
I'm not. On that note, y'all don't go nowhere. I know Mello, you got to go to work, but y'all don't
Yeah.
go nowhere. Good night, ladies
I'll
and
holler at
gentlemen.
you.
All right.
Love
We
you.
appreciate
Bye.
y'all.
Love y'all. Holla.
From the desert to the sea, and to all who have decided to chat with me, good evening.